Frederick here at Simple System Trading. This video I will run down the local trade copier study for the ShareChart training platform, and I will demo it with two separate installations of ShareChart. This is a first installation that I normally use, and we're going to quickly show you how you can install a second one. So you go to the ShareChart install directory, and you're gonna start the file downloader program here, and instead of the basic install directory, you just rename it to a different install directory and install ShareChart there. That will then install. While we wait, we're gonna load a chart here. So I'm gonna go for the micro ES chart for December. I always like to show the trading DOM, attach the trade window, so we can go over a few settings. And this will be the basic transmitter side setup. The local trade copier supports as a bundle, study bundle with a transmitter study and receiver study. It supports loading multiple receivers, multiple transmitters on different trading symbols and accounts. There's a lot of flexibility there. But this demo will just basically go through the most basic setup with copying between two different charts. I'll quickly log in to that second ShareChart installation right there, and we'll bring it in the window. You see it loads up everything as it's a new install. I'm going to find the symbol here as well to load micro ES December intraday. Obviously you can load a different contract, it will still copy. It's not based on the symbol per se. You can use it to copy between different trading instruments as well. But if you use waiting orders or are dependent on a price, entry price, you definitely need the same symbol. But potentially you could use not use waiting orders, but just trade activity. You can go, for instance, you can go long on ES, and then the receiver goes long on the NQ as well. That's definitely an option. We'll not go into that in this video, but it's definitely possible to do it. You will see in the study setting description that when I go through them, there's a lot of flexibility on turning some stuff on and off, so you can adapt your receiving actions on whatever strategy you want to play. All right, we have the install running now. Let's move that to the right hand side. The transmitter is going to be on the left hand side. Here we're also going to add the trading DOM and attach the trade window real quick. So we have a 1 minute on the right hand side and a 5 minute ES here on the left hand side. So first I'm going to set up the custom study for the transmitter. So we have the copier here, there's two studies in there. We add the transmitter to the chart. You can get a more detailed explanation on the description button here that will load up a local HTML file obtained from the study, and this will describe the study itself and all its settings. So you can have a view on that as well. Now, running through the settings here real quick. Origin mode. If you have multiple micro ES symbol loaded on the chart, on several charts on this particular instance, the transmitter study, although it's loaded here, can also look for trades on that symbol originating from another chart, right? So any origin will basically say, well, any trade position, any order on that loaded symbol will be detected by the transmitter study, independent of the chart. If you only want to have signals originating from that particular chart that the study is loaded on, then you should set this to chart origin. So you can limit the amount of signals that are sent. So if you only trade the 5 minute, only this chart, and you use another ES chart on something else, but whenever you trade from there, you don't want to have those trades copied, then you use basically chart origin on the chart where you want to have your trades copied from. So it's an option. We'll keep it to any origin right now, but you can limit the transmitted side using origin mode. The tag, you need to set a tag. Tags are used on the receiver end basically as a filter to process signals coming from the transmitted side. So I always recommend to set a tag that's related to the instrument you're trading and the chart it's loaded on, or maybe, you know, some kind of strategy that can differentiate your trading business basically. If you, for instance, use a transmitter on the NQ as well, but you'll use the same tag on both NQ and ES, then you might be having a problem on the receiving end when it processes the signals. So the receiver will set the same tag that it wants to receive from the transmitter. That's how the concept works. Scaling in and out, you can set it to yes, both of them will be enabled. You can set it to no, both will be disabled, or you can set it independently and then it will take whatever you set it on your chart. We'll keep it to yes right now. You can send adding or reducing signals. If you don't want them to send them, you keep this to no. So whenever you are in a position and you add to that position or you reduce your position, those will generate signals. You can send them to the receiver or you can keep them at the transmitter side. Set it to yes now. Target and stop order price changes if you want to send them. Right now we're gonna just do that because you want to basically, this setup will mimic the setup between transmitter and receiver completely. Although you can operate receivers in an independent way as well. Show study display, we'll set that to yes, and we'll show the tag and the short name. So this tag will be visible on the screen with the little short name here. We'll use that transmitter, and this will be displayed on the chart. It's a reminder that you have a transmitter study loaded. We'll show more messages in the log just as a little reference. We will support waiting orders, and we will also send flat when the last target and stop is being hit. It's an option to not do that as well. So if you want to keep your receiver and have independent fills based on their use target and stop, you can set this to no, and then only an actual flat button hit will generate that flat signal. You can imagine that a last target and stop fill will also generate a flat signal going from a position size to 0. But you can have a little bit of a tweak here to not send that when your last target and stop is hit. A new option here in the last update is to send the loaded trade window configuration file name. We're going to set that to yes so we can demonstrate it when we use it. With this, we'll good to go. We get connected, transmitter is running. If there's any issue, you will see something red here with a warning to check your log. You can then quickly check the log, what's going on. Generally happens when you, for instance, on a live account, you would have a transmitter on the same trading instruments loaded with the same tag. And that's not something you can do, right? You can have multiple loaded, but you have to have a different tag, for instance, to differentiate. But those type of error messages will show up, and they should be very straightforward. If you can't figure it out, you just write me an email, and we'll have a look at it. Then the trade window configuration. You know the basics here. You set the target and the stop. Right now there's no configuration file saved, but you can save that configuration in a certain name. You just give it a name and it will be saved, and that's your whole configuration here. If you use the same configuration and the same configuration files on the receiving end as well, you can now, with that new update, get those used names sent over to the receiver. I will demo that in a bit. So let's first load a study here on the receiving end. So we go to Add Custom Study, look for the local trade copier here, and add the receiver. We go to Settings, and we set that same tag here, ES5 minute. That's the tag we want to use. Those are the signals coming from the from the transmitter side. It's an option to fade the main signal. It basically means if the transmitter would go long, you would go short on the receiver. So it gives you an optional flexibility there. We'll keep it as it is. We'll set max position size here to 2. And we're going to set the trade size selection to the sender size times 1. That will be copying the sender trade size. You can keep it to your own trade window config as well, so it's definitely an option to manually set that. You can also use the trade size of the sender and then double it, so factor of 2, or you can half it, factor of 0.5. So there's a lot of options to be flexible, right, on your trade sizing. Scaling in and out, we will use the same as the transmitter, so we'll keep it all the same here. Process, add and reduce signals, we'll do that too. The entry factor, we'll do just a simple 1. You can read up and test it out yourself on what you could use here instead. Reversals, we'll do reversals as well. We process flatten, we do that, and we will do both target and stop. Time in force, we keep that to day. There's an option to set to good till cancelled. Really depends on your trading style. If you close everything down before the end of the trading day, you should be good to go with day. If you keep positions overnight and you want to keep your attached orders, then you have to set it to good till cancelled. Because if you keep it to a time in force of day, your attached orders will be removed at the end of the trading day, and you could be in an open position without any targets and stops. So keep that in mind. A good till cancelled might not be supported by all trade services or brokers, so you really have to do your own research there and see what you want to use. We're also going to set the little study display here as a receiver, and we'll show more messages in the log as well. We have 2 settings here that are safety features. It's basically disallow new waiting orders when out of sync. So in case you're out of sync with your receiver, it can happen that if if you the transmitter side might got filled on the target, but the receiver end is running independently, but that target didn't fill. That in that case, the transmitter is not having a position, but on the receiver, the position is still open. You're in out of sync at that moment. With this setting, you will disallow the receiver to process any new signals if you're out of sync. So in that case, if the transmitter, you would punch in another trade, a waiting order somewhere, that order will not be processed. And you will see that in the log as well. You could even be more safe here to even flatten that position when that new open order is received, if you're out of sync. So that will basically clean up your receiver end and make sure you're good to go for the next round. These are safety features. You don't have to use them, but it's a good idea to do that. There can be several reasons. Definitely, if you're using different trading and data services, can be many reasons why a trade would not be in sync with the transmitter. Use text tag. The transmitter side can send the text tag to a trade. Text tags are basically set here on the trade window. You can use the config name as well as a text tag, and they will show up in the trade activity log and in your stats. So if that's being used and you want to use the same one from the transmitter side on the receiver trades, you can set this to yes. Use attached order check mark. We're going to leave it to no right now to quickly demo something, and we'll set that to yes later on. We're going to process trade winner config files. We'll set that to yes, so we'll demo that as well. So right now we have a receiver end loaded as well. Market just opened, so it's always nice to do this when the market is open. It's a bit more realistic. So right now we have basically a transmitter that sends signals to the receiver, and we can basically start trading. Right? Let's quickly demo something here. We have a waiting order here that's been copied on the receiver end. On this side, we don't have any targets and stops because we didn't use attached orders. On this side, we didn't set to use the attached order check mark, but it did load the bracket. The bracket that's here will always be used, independent of this, if the check mark is not used. It's kind of safe to do that. If you don't wanna have those attached orders, you really have to remove them here. That's a very conscious decision to go naked, so to speak. It can be a good reason for that to do it, but that's definitely something you need to consider for yourself. If you wanna use the check mark here, you can. That's been added in a recent update. Then you set the check mark to be used, and right now, let's make another demo. We don't have the check mark on the receiver end, so it won't show up now as well. Right? So we want to use attached orders. We do that. Attached orders are there. But we want to basically, in this setup, copy everything the same as the sender side is doing. Right? Sender side will be using attached orders as well. We're gonna quickly move them, make it a bit bigger. Got a 20 target and a 20. Let's make it a 40. 40 target here and a 20 stop. One size, and we basically get the same now on the receiver end. You saw a quick move here because the receiver end still has the 10-10, right? You'll see it has the 10-10, it starts at 10-10 and then it moves the targets and stop as they are being sent over by the transmitter. If you wouldn't set target and stop being moved, right, then you will keep your independent brackets here, right? If you want to trade 10-10 here and you want to trade something else here, 40-20, you can, right? This will stay 10-10. Whatever is being done here is not being reflected on the receiver. So that gives some insight in flexibility. But in our use case, we definitely wanna copy what we are doing on the transmitter. So we're gonna basically process those targets and stops, right? So 40-20 is being used, 40-20 is being used. Any movement will be reflected as well. We can use multiple. So right now we use 2 as a size here. We have target of 1, target of 20, target of 40, stop of 20. Keep that the same. We have a size here of 2. Size here of 2 as well, because we used that same size vector from the sender. If we'd go to 3 here, you will already know what happens. We will not see anything happen on the receiver end. Why is that? Oh, that's because we have a max position size set, right? So the order didn't work. Go to trade service log. Well, trade service log pops up here, and you will see max position allowed would be reached or exceeded, so the trade didn't happen. So that's that safety feature of the study setting here, your max position size. So let's set it to 4, right? So what's also been added in a recent update is that we can update the quantity here, and that will be reflected on this side as well, right? So quite a few updates were done, so that's now supported. The latest update is, let's say we want to have 2 targets with a break-even stop. We have that configured already, so that now we have 2 targets with 1 stop. We set to use this config name and receive that on the receiver. On the receiver, use the same config name, so it gets loaded, and now you have the same stuff happening here. So now you have 2 targets, 1 stop. You can move them around, and it will be copied to the receiver. So that all works out of the box. If you want to run independent, you can. If you change your mind, you want to go simple bracket here, you go simple bracket, and you're back. And it basically changes can be changed on the fly if you want to. You know, you add a new one, and you're good to go. As long as you remain within your safety limits, the receiving end will copy what you're doing. So that's a quick demo here on the local trade copier. You can use as many studies as you want, but I suggest you build up things gradually. Just start with 1 chart and then use another one, and then build it out over several charts or several chart installations, and work your way up. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will be gladly answering them. Hope you liked the video. Have a good one. Thank you. Bye-bye.